In this video, we are going over example number 2 in lesson 7.5, increasing, decreasing, and constant intervals. Okay, here, our objective, we're going to recognize and compare and contrast increasing, decreasing, and constant intervals by analyzing the graph of a function. Okay, so this is the part definitely where we are going to be comparing and contrasting intervals. It says the graph shows the speed of a commuter boat as it makes an evening trip. Okay, here's our function represented by a graph. All right, obviously not a linear function because it's not a straight line. And there's 3 questions. They want to know A, how many constant intervals are defined in the graph? B, how are the constant intervals alike? And then C, how are the constant intervals different? All right, so let's take a look at the graph and let's analyze it to figure this out. First, let's look at the units. So the units along the y-axis are the speed, which they tell us this time are in miles per hour. And then time is along the x-axis. All right, and remember the definition of an interval is a period of time between 2 points of time or events. All right, so first they want to know how many constant intervals are defined in the graph. Well, we remember that a constant interval is a horizontal line. Okay, so here it looks like the speed, the boat starts at 0, right, because it's down here at 0. And that's at 5 p.m., right? It's telling us there the time is 5 p.m. and it starts at 0. And it goes up, and here's a constant interval, right here. This is a horizontal. It looks like it's at 20 miles per hour. So the speed was constant at 20 miles an hour. Then it looks like the speed is decreasing. Maybe this was where the boat stopped to pick up some people. Here's another constant interval right here at 0 miles per hour. The boat must have been stopped. Then the speed increases again of the boat. This must be where they're on open water. Here's another constant interval. And it looks like that's at 30 miles per hour. It was at 30 miles per hour for a while. Then the speed decreases here, and here's another constant interval. This must be when the boat stopped, because the speed is 0. We're down at the bottom. And then the boat increased its speed again, and then here is the last constant interval right here, which if you go over to the graph, if this is 20 and this is 30, this would be 25. So this meant that the speed of the boat was at 25 miles per hour. All right, so let me count again. The constant intervals, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 constant intervals. There are 5 constant intervals defined in the graph. Okay, now they want to know how are the constant intervals alike. Okay, so going back to what we were talking about, what is a constant interval? Well, it's when the speed is constant. So all of these constant intervals are when the speed stayed the same. Here it stayed at 20 miles per hour. Here it stayed at 0 miles per hour. Here it was a constant at 30 miles per hour. Here it was at 0 miles per hour again, because it's the bottom. And then up here, we said it was at 25 miles per hour at constant speed. So let's write that down. That all of the constant intervals indicate lengths of time when the speed is constant? When the speed of the boat is constant. Okay. Now the third thing they're asking us is how are the constant intervals different? All right, and we kind of talked about that when we were looking and analyzing, when we were looking at and analyzing the graph. Okay. So how are the constant intervals different? Well, here, these two constant intervals are kind of the same length here. They're two short intervals and they're both at 0 miles per hour. So two constant intervals, meaning these ones right here, these two, have about the same number of minutes in length and the same speed of 0 miles per hour, right? They are at, down here, if this is speed, they're at 0 miles per hour. All right, so two of them are like that, but then we have to still answer how are the others different. So while two of the constant intervals have the same speed and basically the same interval time, the other constant intervals occur for different numbers of minutes and have different speeds. All right, so that would be these intervals right here. See, these have different lengths of minutes and they're all at different speeds. This one's at 20 miles per hour, there's a constant, 30 miles per hour constant speed, and then 25 miles per hour constant speed. Okay, now that you have finished example number 2, you could try the got it number 2 before watching the video to make sure that you have it correct.